In this video, we'll explain every CP9 member in One Piece, starting with Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci is the definition of final boss energy. He is the strongest member of CP9, and honestly, it shows immediately. This man was killing people as a kid and smiling about it. No hesitation, no emotions, just pure loyalty to the world government. He ate the cat fruit model leopard, which lets him turn into a giant leopard-human hybrid, and combines that with Rokushiki techniques. When he fights Luffy at Enies Lobby, it feels like Luffy hit a wall for the first time. Every punch matters. Every second matters. I remember thinking, yeah, Luffy might actually lose this. That is how serious Lucci is. He does not joke. He does not play around. Even now, in the latest story, he is part of CP0, still chasing power and still taking fights way too seriously. And somehow, he still keeps that same cold stare like he has never laughed once in his life. Kaku. Kaku is easily one of the most unexpected characters in CP9. At first, he seems like a chill shipwright who just likes square noses and jumping off buildings for fun. Then boom, secret assassin. He eats the ox fruit model giraffe, which turns him into a giraffe. And somehow, that becomes one of the most dangerous fighting styles in the arc. I am not even joking. This man turns a giraffe into a weapon, spinning, slicing, launching attacks from impossible angles. It is ridiculous, but also kind of genius. His fight with Zoro is chaotic in the best way. You're laughing 1 second and then suddenly realizing he is actually strong. Kaku feels like that one guy who accidentally becomes dangerous just by committing fully to the bit. And honestly, respect for that. Okay, quick pause. If you're liking this video so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps out and keeps you updated on all the new content. Let's continue now. Kalifa. Kalifa is the only female member of CP9, and she brings a very different fighting style. She uses the bubble fruit, which lets her create soap bubbles that can literally drain strength and make opponents slip like they are in a cartoon. It sounds harmless until you realize you cannot even stand properly while fighting her. She also mixes this with Rokushiki techniques, making her surprisingly dangerous. Her fight with Nami is one of the more creative battles because it becomes less about brute force and more about strategy. Nami had to actually think instead of just throwing attacks, which says a lot. Also, Kalifa is very serious about being proper, which makes everything she says feel slightly passive-aggressive. She will insult you politely and still win the fight. And honestly, losing to someone who just cleaned the floor with you mid-battle is a different kind of disrespect. Blueno. Blueno is the guy who introduces one of the coolest abilities in the entire arc. He ate the door fruit, which lets him open doors anywhere. Walls, air, even mid-fight space. It sounds simple, but it becomes insanely useful. He can disappear, reposition, and trap opponents with ease. His fight against Luffy is actually the moment Gear 2nd is revealed, so he basically exists to show us how much stronger Luffy just became. And that is unfortunate for him. Blueno feels like a tank, solid, reliable, and always there to block the way. He is the type of opponent that does not look flashy but is incredibly annoying to deal with. And then suddenly, Luffy turns into a speed demon and Blueno becomes the test subject. Still, his ability is one of the most creative in CP9, and in another situation, he would have been a much bigger problem. Jabra. Jabra is chaos with teeth. He ate the dog fruit model wolf, turning him into a werewolf-style fighter with insane strength. But what makes him stand out is his personality. This man lies constantly, like for no reason. He will fake emotional backstories mid-fight just to mess with his opponent. It is honestly hilarious. His rivalry with Kaku is also peak sibling energy. They argue, compete, and somehow still fight like professionals. His fight with Sanji is one of the best because it mixes serious combat with straight-up comedy. Jabra tries to trick Sanji emotionally, and Sanji just does not care. That dynamic is perfect. Jabra is strong, aggressive, and unpredictable. He talks a lot, fights hard, and somehow manages to be both threatening and funny at the same time, which is honestly impressive. Kumadori. Kumadori feels like he walked out of a theater play and into a battlefield. He uses something called Life Return, which lets him control every part of his body, including his hair. Yes, his hair fights you. That alone is already too much. He moves dramatically, speaks dramatically, and fights dramatically. Everything about him is extra. His fight with Chopper is actually really intense because it pushes Chopper to use Monster Point for the first time, and that moment, pure chaos. Kumadori might act theatrical, but he is still extremely dangerous. The ability to control your body like that makes him unpredictable in combat. Also, the fact that he can just start growing and moving his hair mid-fight like it has a mind of its own is honestly disturbing. Anyone who can weaponize their own hair like that is not to be trusted. Fukurou. Fukurou is the walking data machine of CP9. He is the one who measures power levels using something called Doriki, basically telling everyone who is stronger than who. He looks like he should be quiet, but the man does not stop talking. Ever. Even when he is not supposed to, which is actually how missions get messed up sometimes. He fights using Rokushiki like the others, but his main role is support and information. What I find funny is that he takes his job very seriously while completely ignoring the concept of secrecy. He will just casually reveal important information mid-conversation. Still, he is strong enough to be part of CP9, which already says a lot. Behind all the talking, he is still a trained assassin. Just one that really needs to learn when to stop speaking. Spandam. Spandam is the leader of CP9, and somehow also the least threatening person in the entire group. This man cannot even use Rokushiki. He survives purely on authority, luck, and the fact that everyone else does the fighting for him. He carries a sword named Funkfried that can turn into an elephant, which honestly feels like it deserves a better owner. Spandam is arrogant, loud, and constantly messing things up. He literally triggers a buster call by accident. Imagine having that level of responsibility and still fumbling it. But at the same time, he represents the world government perfectly. Power without strength, authority without skill. And somehow, he still ends up surviving everything. I cannot decide if that is impressive or just unfair. Either way, he proves that sometimes the most dangerous position is held by the least capable person. Nero. Nero is the trainee of CP9, and you can immediately tell he is not on the same level as the others. He has not fully mastered Rokushiki, and during the C-Train fight, it becomes very clear. He tries to keep up, but compared to the rest of CP9, he feels like he joined the wrong difficulty setting, and Lucci literally takes him out for being too weak. No second chances. That moment shows how brutal CP9 really is. It is not just about being strong, you have to be perfect. Nero's role might be small, but it highlights how unforgiving this organization is. You either meet the standard, or you're gone, and in his case, it did not take long to find out. Hattori. Hattori is technically just a pigeon, but calling him just a pigeon feels disrespectful at this point. He is Lucci's constant companion and somehow always present during serious moments. He even wears little outfits and communicates for Lucci sometimes, which raises more questions than answers. I do not know how he understands everything, but he does. And honestly, after everything we have seen in One Piece, a pigeon being part of a secret assassin group is not even that weird anymore. Hattori does not fight, but he adds to Lucci's presence. If you see the pigeon, you know something serious is about to happen. And that is a weird level of intimidation for a bird. At this point, I'm convinced Hattori knows more about the plot than most characters. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Stay tuned for more.